Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with another online battle today. In this one, I take the Warriors of Chaos to battle against the Dwarfs of Tomato Soup. Sathariel leads my Warriors of Chaos with Metal Shifting and Plague of Rust to help against the heavily armored Dwarves, a Scroll of Shielding, and Standard Die. 5 units of Chaos Warriors with great weapons will look to hold the enemy in place as my 3 units of Gorebeast Chariots and Dragon Ogre Shaggoth bring the pain in from multiple sides, with a Marauder Horseman with throwing axes there to take care of Slayers, though they are armor-piercing in case I need them elsewhere as well. Ungrim Iron Fist leads the Dwarves with Foe Seeker, Deadly Onslaught, Stand Your Ground, and the Axe of Dargo. The 2 Runesmiths come in with Forge Fire, the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and the Rune of Negation, while 2 units of Miners with Blasting Charges come in with 4 units of Dwarf Warriors with great weapons for much needed armor piercing against Warriors of Chaos, alongside a unit of Longbeards with great weapons and the Grumbling Guard. 2 units of Slayers will hope to hold large units at bay, while a Grudge Thrower and a Goblobber can do plenty of damage from afar. Alright, as always, we're going to start with the conversation about deployment, and it is relatively simple from both sides of the field. Let's start with my Warriors of Chaos. Now, the main line here consists of the Chaos Warriors with their great weapons. Again, nothing too spectacular here. Sathariel is right behind them, able to dive in and provide some support when the front lines do meet, able to fly over these guys and get into the thick of things where necessary. Meanwhile, off on the left, I do have the Gorebeast Chariot over here. Again, the intent is not to hide them. They can't hide in trees, but I just want them off to the flank. While on the other flank, I do have the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, as well as 2 more units of Gorebeast Chariots. Meanwhile, all the way up front over here, I do have this unit of Marauder Horsemen with their throwing axes. Again, just in case the Dwarfs are trying something sneaky, I want to be sure that I can spot it. Or alternatively, of course, if there's a clear path over here, I want to be able to push in and get some nice rear missile support in as well. Now, let's take a look at the Dwarfs. Again, relatively simple over here. Up front, we do have all of the Dwarf Warriors with their great weapons, and on either side, we have the Miners with their blasting charges, able to toss those blasting charges into incoming charges from cavalry to slow those charges down and reduce how much damage comes through. So good thinking there. While right behind the center, we do have the Grumbling Guard as well as the Longbeards with great weapons, again, able to push in and provide some support wherever necessary, while we do have both the Goblobber as well as the regular Grudge Thrower right back here, able to, again, get that artillery damage in right from the get-go, while the Slayers are back here to protect those guys and just rear entry points from any cavalry that I might bring to the field. We do also have both Runesmiths and Ungrim Iron Fist right in the center for now. Typically a good idea to deploy them farther apart from each other, the Runesmiths, just so they can cover their cover more ground with their runes, especially the Rune of Negation. So, again, relatively simple from both sides of the field here, but let's take a look at how this all breaks down. It's pretty fun battle. I do feel a little horrendous about going in with 3 units of Gorebeast Chariots, but you know what? Only Tzeentch can judge me. But you'll see right away I do get aggressive because, of course, there's a Goblobber as well as a Grudge Thrower on the other side of the field, and immediately I do start opening fire at my Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and unfortunately this one guy got picked out in that entire unit to get completely wrecked by that first rock there. Continuing to push through, but a lot of morale damage happening there because, of course, the Goblobber does do a decent amount of morale damage with its discouraged ability there. So you can see morale is dropping quite heftily, while the regular Grudge Thrower there is doing a decent amount of damage as well, hurting my lines quite a bit. So good thinking there, trying to shut these guys down nice and early, while you'll see the Chariots are ever so calmly pushing off to either flank. I want to get some nice early damage, and I do pull Sathariel back for a moment here because I do want to get his morale support back here just in case some of these guys start to break before lines even meet. I definitely don't want that to happen. So I pull him back just to provide some morale support while that ranged fire does continue on. Meanwhile, you'll see Ungrim does push off to one side. The Runesmiths, however, do stick to the center here. Not a good call at all. When you see this coming in from multiple directions, you really need to make a few important changes. And as these charges are coming through, I want to talk about those changes. For one, you want to get into deeper formations. You need to form squares up because, of course, with squares you can actually absorb a charge and get the chariots stuck in the middle of your army and then surround them, envelop them, and make sure they get cut down. You also want to push your Slayers up front a bit more just to make sure that as those charges are coming in, the Slayers are right there to respond immediately, and you also want to push your Runesmiths up front or your command structure up front because these guys can actually absorb charges. If a chariot charges into a Runesmith, the entire charge is basically wasted because they'll be bogged down by that one Runesmith who can actually take the charge and not have to worry about, plowing through the front lines. Also, the Runesmith should pop Rune of Negation, so move off to either side, pop Rune of Negation as the charges are about to come through, push further in, intercept some of these charges, and then send the Slayers in as well to, again, catch those large units as they come charging in. You'll see on this right flank over here, the Slayers do push forward to try and intercept whatever is coming in. You'll see the Miners also popping their blasting charges onto the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth here, but that's doing very little, as you can see, coming in, slamming and getting a lot of her in, while the Chariots as well coming in from both sides, doing a lot of damage to the front line, pushing right in and then pushing right out as well. You'll see I've got these guys pulling out, and these guys pushing through, again, just causing as much hurt as possible before lines even meet. And you'll see I've got quite a fair distance to cover still, and you'll notice right away the Rune of Wrath and Ruin does go down on these guys over here, as well as these guys up here, and that's not a good idea. The Rune of Wrath and Ruin is best used against units with lots of entities, and these guys are just 3 apiece, so that's actually quite wasteful. Meanwhile, over here, you'll see this unit of Miners with Blasting Charges gets rear charged by that unit of Gore Beast Chariots, doing a lot of hurt there, while these guys, again, come back for another charge into these Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. Same thing on that right flank. There are a lot of harassment going on, a lot of damage going through, and these Miners with Blasting Charges just not shutting down these Marauder Horsemen, able to get damage into the Slayers and just not being shut down whatsoever, while the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth again coming in for a nice rear charge to shut down the Grudge Thrower once and for all. Meanwhile, Sathariel here does dive through to try and cause some hurt nice and early before the front lines come in once again, and you'll see the Gore Beast Chariot once more pushing in to get some damage done, while the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth comes in back here and gets a lot of hurt in one fell swoop, getting a lot of damage done, while the Gore Beast Chariot again follows through as well, making sure that this front line completely crumbles. And you'll see these Dwarf Warriors already terrified, trying to leave the field, while another Rune of Wrath and Ruin goes down on this unit of Gore Beast Chariots, again, quite wasteful there, while these Chaos Warriors here do continue to push forward for an envelopment maneuver, and the Marauder Horsemen here with their throwing axes coming in for a rear sort of opportunity of throwing their missiles, don't want them to get obstructed at any point in time. Meanwhile, the Gore Beast Chariots continue to push around and cause a decent amount of damage, while Sathariel here disengages from Ungrim Iron Fist. He does have quite a few abilities activated. Rune of Negation finally goes live, helping the Dwarf Warriors stay alive, but Ungrim Iron Fist, of course, is anti-large and armor-piercing, so that does put Sathariel in a bit of a tight spot. So I pull him back, while the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth does decide to push in and get some support into the front lines, while the Gore Beast Chariot over here, you'll see, pulls away and decides to get a very slow charge into these Miners with Blasting Charges, while on the left flank over here, you'll see the Chaos Warriors do push in to these Miners with Blasting Charges just to try and take care of these guys with their great weapons, of course. Meanwhile, you'll see over here, again, the Gore Beast Chariot just disengaging, pulling after these guys, while this unit of Gore Beast Chariots does push in to try and crush the Dwarf Warriors up here, while the Chaos Warriors with great weapons push in to shut these guys down. Hit by Plague of Rust, their armor is reduced, so they did retreat earlier, but again, just trying to chase them down and shut them down once and for all, while these Marauder Horsemen are kept away from this unit of Grumbling Guard, just in case they're trying anything clever there, while the Slayers here being hit by the Gore Beast Chariot. A little worried about the anti-large capability, but I'm pretty quick there, so not entirely concerned. While over here, you'll see Standard Eye and Scroll of Shielding does go down, trying to keep the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth alive while he's up against Ungrim Iron Fist, because again, Ungrim Iron Fist is anti-large. The Gore Beast Chariot does come in with a rear charge, once again hit by the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, once again wasteful over there, turns around, hits these Slayers to keep them from diving in and bogging my my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth down there, while Sathariel himself is actually beating on some of these dwarfs as well. The Marauder Horsemen continue to throw their axes at various units, making sure they shatter rather than return to the fray later on, while this unit of Gore Beast Chariot again come in for another charge from the side here, while this unit of Gore Beast Chariot unfortunately do get bogged down, shut down quite a bit, while Ungrim Iron Fist himself does get hit by the Plague of Rust as I bog him down with some of these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. I want to reduce his armor and try and cause a decent amount of damage, while Sathariel here does go away, chasing after some units, just trying to get these guys to shatter and end the battle nice and early. You'll notice some of my units here, though, don't really get engaged, just standing there, looking pretty, not doing anything, so a little wasteful over there, but Ungrim is surrounded, he's hit by Plague of Rust, he's taking a lot of damage. The Grumbling Guard here, not really a concern. I'm a little less intense on the micro with my Gore Beast Chariots right now, so you'll see quite a few of them do start to fall apart and die. They're taking a lot of damage, a lot of Slayers over here doing a decent amount of work, so unfortunately a little more lax on my micro later on in the battle, but you'll see I do try to rescue these guys with this nice charge into these Miners with Blasting Charges, toss these guys aside again, just try to shatter these guys and take care of them once and for all, while my Chaos Warriors with great weapons continue to give chase in the hopes of shutting down the Slayers, while you'll see the Runesmith over here does dive in to use the Rune of Negation and try and keep Ungrim alive alongside the Grumbling Guard there, but unfortunately that's far too little, far too late, and you'll see across the field it's mainly just cleanup now as Sathariel chases various units down, the Gore Beast Chariot over here and over here chasing various units down as well, just trying to shut everything down and make it a pretty short battle. That was 100% intentional. You'll see in the middle, Ungrim does try to stick around and fight, but unfortunately, it's not enough. You might be unbreakable, but a close victory for my Warriors of Chaos. Now, part of me, again, feels bad about going in with 3 Chariot units and a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth against the Dwarfs, but as I said earlier, only Tzeentch can judge me, and my opponent simply did not adapt to the situation. With 2 Runesmiths and Ungrim on the field, the Dwarfs should have intercepted the Chariots and Shaggoth with the characters, and sent Slayers in to dispatch them quickly. Again, getting into deeper formations is very important when you've got that many large units coming towards you as well. My Chariots arrived well before the rest of my lines did, and with some confidence as well, and those damage dealers could have actually pinned them in place and taken care of them. Collectively, we saw over 300 kills from large units, and more importantly, complete chaos. As always, for more Total War content, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Total Breakdown and my own online battles continue on. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.